balancing chemical reactions and chemical equations. All right, in this lesson, I'm going to go through 3 questions. I'm going to talk about common mistakes, things to avoid, and I'm going to go talk about tips and tricks that you can use. And if you use them consistently, it's a guarantee that you're going to do fine. Okay, first question, we have this equation here. This chemical reaction is hydrogen and oxygen is giving you water. The very first thing that you need to do, you want to make sure that you know how to count the number of atoms. And remember, the number of atoms on the reactant sides, which is the left-hand side, which is right here, that has to be equal to the number of atoms on the right-hand side, which is the product side. So you must have, so in here we have 2 hydrogen on this side, 2 oxygen on this side. In here we have 2 hydrogen, but only 1 oxygen. Now, it's a common mistake here that a lot of students think that oxygen has got 2. There are 2 oxygen there, but no, that's not true. The next thing is that you need to make sure you realize that there is a subscript. These numbers right here, and right there, and right there, these are called the subscript, and the subscripts never ever will change. We will never change those. We are not allowed to change these subscripts. The only way we can change is the coefficient. That means a number that will show up in front, right here, in front of these. Okay? That's the only way we can manipulate a reaction so that we can balance the equation and, of course, balance the reaction. Okay? So here is the first question. Let's go through it one at a time. So knowing that you cannot change the subscript, and also be aware that when you read this H₂O, this 2, which is in between the 2 atoms, the 2 belongs to the hydrogen, not to the oxygen. Okay, now let's go through and balance this. Now, first thing you notice that we got 2 hydrogen and 2 oxygens, but we only have 1 oxygen on that side. So to do that, what we will do, we're going to try to figure out what we can add so that we will end up having the same number of atoms on the left-hand side and right-hand side. So here you go. We have 2 oxygens, so we need to have 2 oxygens because the hydrogen is already balanced, but we're going to put 2 in front of the H₂O. But now that we've done this, notice that this 2 times 2, that is actually giving you 4 hydrogen, and yes, it's giving you 2 oxygen. So that's already taken care of, which is our O2. But the 4 hydrogen, we have 2 hydrogen here. You see that? So we have to now multiply the front or put a coefficient 2 in front, because 2 times 2, that will give us 4 hydrogen atom. Okay? That's how you balance this equation. One step at a time, all right? Never change the subscript. Only we're going to we're going to manipulate the coefficients. Oh, one more thing. The coefficients cannot be fractions or decimals. They can only be integers, all right? It's going to come handy with knowing that, because you are not allowed to have a fraction in there or decimal. Okay, let's look at the next question. Question 2 is combustion reaction is intermediate. That means it's a little bit harder than the first one. We're going to increase the difficulty level as we go through this, okay? So here are the common mistakes that I wrote down here just to watch out for. The students forget to balance carbon and hydrogen before oxygen. If you do the oxygen first, it's going to be a mess. So don't do it. Just start with the carbon and then hydrogen. The students panic when oxygen ends up odd or on one side and even on the other side. This is the part where I mentioned that the coefficient that we are adding, it cannot be fractions. It has to be integers, and there's a trick to that. I'm going to show you how to do this. Okay, it's very simple, and if you do this, you're going to get it right every time. Okay, just follow that. And then the other thing is that, of course, you want to try to balance the oxygen, and you never ever start with balancing oxygen first in any combustion reaction. Okay, so just remember that. And combustion reaction is what? Is basically you're adding oxygen to the whatever the other compound is. In this case, we have propane, and then of course oxygen is added, and that's what we call them combustion. That's what that is. Okay, let's go through and then look at some of the tricks. Well, the first thing is that the order matters in here. So we're going to start with carbon and then hydrogen, then we're going to go to oxygen. And then we're going to deal with this, what happens when the oxygen ends up odd and on one side and even on other side. And then we go through that. Okay, the first carbon, we got 3 carbons here. We have 1 carbon there. So we got to multiply the CO2 by 3. Okay, that's number 1. Okay, next is hydrogen. We have 2 hydrogen here, but we have 8 hydrogen there. So we need to multiply this one by 4. Okay, it's all multiplication. So that's simple as that. Now we're going to start counting. Now remember, you still need to be able to count all the atoms in one side and the other side, and they all have to match. It cannot be more or less in one side or on the other side. They have to be equal to each other on left-hand side and right-hand side. Okay, so the oxygen atom is left. So let's go through it. Let's see. We have the 8 hydrogen. We have the 3 carbons. That's been taken care of, but the oxygen is not taken care of. So we have, how many oxygen do we have? We have 3 times 2 in here. That's 6 oxygen in here. And we also have 4 times 1, which is 4 oxygen there. So that's 4. So altogether, how many do we have? We have 10. Okay. So we have 10 oxygen altogether on the right-hand side. But on the left-hand side, we have O2, which is 2 only. So what are we going to do here to make the O2 to make it 10? Well, we have to multiply that by 5. Okay. Simple as that. And now you do a double check. We have 10 oxygens. We have 6 plus 4, that's 10 oxygens. We have 8 hydrogen, which is right there, and 2 times 4, that's 8. And we have 3 carbons. This is now completely balanced. Now, it does say in here, I wrote a note in here, if oxygen ends up odd, double everything. Well, you could, but here is the thing. I don't need to double everything anymore because it's already balanced. But if it turns out that I had an odd on one side and then even on other side, then that would have been an issue. Okay, and we'll go through an example like that as well. But in here, we don't have to do that because both sides are basically easily manipulated. I can get just 10 by multiplying the 2 by 5, and that will give me 10 oxygens in total. Okay, and that's easy. All right, let's look at last question. So this question involves polyatomic ion reaction. It is harder, not super difficult, but it's a harder question. So we have this compound on the left-hand side, aluminum sulfate, and then we have a nitrogen hydroxide, and then of course a double replacement, and you get aluminum hydroxide, and then we got sodium sulfate on the other side. Now the common mistakes. Okay, if you can help it, never ever break up the polyatomic ions. Never do that. This SO4 is packaged already for you. There's no need for you to change that, to break it up to the sulfur and oxygen. Okay, so leave it alone. And it's very simple because in here you can see that there are 3, remember subscript? This 3 is telling you that this SO4, there are 3 of them. There are 3 sulfate ion there. Okay, and this is what they're saying, that a student break apart the sulfate ion. Don't do it. Okay, the other thing is students try to balance individual, obviously, off of this breaking up the SO4, the polyatomic ion, and of course they're going to break the oxygen and sulfur. Don't do it. All right, and then of course students forget to balance aluminum last. Okay, so in this case you have to do that. Okay, now tricks. Treat polyatomic ions as a single unit if they appear unchanged on both sides. And that's what we're going to do. Okay, and then balance big chunks first. The sulfate ion we're going to do first, then Al, and then we're going to go to the leftover. Okay, but the first thing that you do, the polyatomic has to be balanced first. So let's go ahead and start working on that. Okay, first thing, we have, how many SO4 do we have? Well, we have 3 in here. How many have in here? On the right hand side, we only have 1. So we're going to multiply the sodium sulfate by 3. That's the coefficient in front. That's the first thing that we're going to do. Okay, next, we're going to deal with aluminum. In here, we have 2 aluminum here, but we have 1 aluminum there. So we got to multiply this guy by 2. Okay, so we have 2 aluminum on the right hand side and 2 aluminum on the left hand side. The aluminums are balanced. Fantastic. Now let's look at the sodium. We have 6, 3 times 2 sodium there. We have only 1 in here, so we have to multiply NaOH by 6. Now, by doing that, now we need to double check our hydroxide, which is OH. Okay, so let's do that. Now, how many do we have? How many OHs do we have? Well, this is 2 times 3. Do you see that? 2 times 3. That's how many hydroxide we have, OH. Okay, ion OH we have. Okay, so we have 6 there, which is there, and we have 6 here already by default. Luckily we got it, so therefore we're done. We're not doing anything else. It's already balanced, and this is the full balanced equation that you got. You got 1 in front of Al2, which is just the coefficient. We don't write that. We have 6 in front of the sodium hydroxide. We have 2 in front of the aluminum hydroxide, and we have 3 in front of the sodium sulfate. All right, so this is the last question. Make sure you go back to each of these questions a step at a time, go through it. Make sure you take the quiz that is in the description below or in a pinned comment, and make sure to check out the next video on this series. The next video on this one will be even tougher than these ones. 3 more questions that I'm going to do. Okay, until next time.